Welcome to Wheelock's Latin, Chapter 19. In this video, we'll talk about the perfect passive system. See the next video to talk about the interrogative pronoun. Let's look at the perfect passive system for all four conjugations. As you recall from last video, for the present active system, you form it by taking the present stem plus the active endings for each tense. For the perfect active system, you form the tenses by taking the perfect stem plus the appropriate endings for the tense. In Chapter 18, we learned about the present passive system, which included the present stem plus passive endings. And now we're going to learn the perfect passive system, which is formed by taking the perfect passive participle plus forms of to be. So, what is the perfect passive participle? To get the perfect passive participle, you have to go to the fourth principal part. So in our sample verb, laudo, laudara, laudavi, laudatum, you recall that laudo is first singular present active indicative, I praise. Laudara is present active infinitive, to praise. Both of these use the present stem. Laudavi, the first singular perfect active indicative, shows us the perfect stem, laudaw. And then the last principal part is the perfect passive participle. In this particular form, we've been given the neuter nominative singular, which is otherwise known as the supine, which we will learn more about in a later chapter. The stem, laudat, is what we call our perfect passive participle stem. In the second conjugation, moneo, monera, monoi, monetum, the perfect passive participle stem is monet. Ago, agra, egi, actum, stem is act. Capio, capera, capi, captum, perfect passive participle stem is capt. And in audio, audira, audivi, auditum, the perfect passive participle stem is audit. For all of these, if you lop off the um and add us, you'll get your traditional endings for a 2-1-2 adjective. So actus, acta, actum, for example, is a 2-1-2 adjective where actus is the masculine nominative singular, acta is the feminine nominative singular, and actum is the neuter nominative singular. Actus and actum decline in the second declension, and acta declines in the first declension, hence the name a 2-1-2 adjective. So let's look now that we know the perfect passive participle, how to form the perfect passive tense of the verb. So in the perfect passive system, the perfect system refers to our three tenses, perfect, future perfect, and pluperfect. And we want to learn how to form the actual perfect passive tense of the verb. So to do that, we'll take the perfect passive participle, which we just learned, and add a form of the present tense of to be. So for example, laudatus, laudata, laudatum sum is how you say I was praised. Since I'm female, I'll say laudata sum, I was praised. Perfect tense, I was. Passive voiced, I was praised. In the second person singular, laudatus es. So if you're talking to your friend Marcus, you say Marca, laudatus es. Marcus, you were praised. Must be both perfect tense and passive voice. You were praised. Third singular, laudatus est. For example, I'm going to say the book was praised. And notice in Latin, because book is masculine, laudatus must have the masculine ending, because the perfect passive participle must agree with the subject in gender, number, and case. Which also means when we get to the plural, we have to change those participle endings to the plural endings. Laudati, laudatai, laudata, sumus. So, laudati sumus, we were praised. If it's a mixed gender group, you use laudati, both men and women together, or if it's just a male group, you use laudati. So let's look at the future perfect. For this one, we take the perfect passive participle plus a form of the future active indicative of to be. So for example, laudatus ero I will have been praised. The future perfect is that weird tense that shows a completed action in future time. I will have been praised. You must also make it passive. So active, I will have praised. Passive, I will have been praised. Laudatus aum eris for the second singular, you will have been praised. And then you complete the sequence with the future tense of to be. So erit, erimus, eritus, erunt. Remembering that when you get to the plural, you must change the participle endings to the plural. Laudati, laudatai, laudata. In the pluperfect, you take the perfect passive participle plus an imperfect active indicative form of to be. So, for example, laudatus aum eram means I had been praised. Fill out the sequence. Laudatus aum eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant. The last thing we want to do in this video is just look at a couple of examples. So in the sample sentence, puella laudata est, the girl was praised. Puella and laudata must both be the feminine nominative singular. Puella because it's the subject, and laudata because it agrees with the subject. Est must be a third singular verb because puella is a third singular subject. The girl was praised. You'll notice that now the English and Latin actually look a lot more alike. The English also has a form of to be plus a perfect passive participle. The girl, subject, was, form of to be, praised, perfect passive participle. In the sample sentence, puellae laudatai erant, the girls had been praised, you'll notice that puellae and laudatai are both feminine plural nominative because laudatai has to agree with the subject. Erant is plural because the subject is plural. And because I use the imperfect form of to be, erant, that means together with laudatai, we're in the pluperfect tense. The girls had been praised. In another sample sentence, pueri laudati erunt, this time I'm using the future perfect. The boys will have been praised. Pueri and laudati are both masculine nominative plural. Erunt is a third plural verb. And the future of to be, erunt, plus the perfect passive participle is what gives us the future perfect passive. The boys will have been praised. Last example, I wanted to pick one with neuter. Periculum non visum est. Periculum happens to be a neuter noun, so visum must be a neuter participle to agree with it. Est is third singular because periculum is singular. The danger was not seen. Since we have the present form of to be, est, plus the perfect passive participle visum, then together this is the perfect passive verb. The danger was not seen. That's it for now. See you in the next video.